So enabling the solutions. What can Verisk do? Let's think about that.
Well, again, Verisk is uniquely placed really because we've got both kind of broking solutions, underwriting solutions, white space. And while that's a challenge for us because we've got so many different moving parts, it's also a great opportunity to help our clients move the data around more efficiently, more effectively, remove the need for rekeying, which is a challenge across this market, has been for a number of years. So I think we really are well placed to help drive Blueprint 2, its objectives, and what it's trying to achieve.
It's been beneficial in a way as well, given how much we see across everything. And the scale of the change really hits home when you do take that step back and see that overall picture. I think a lot of that is missing at the moment around the market and providing that clarity.
And engaging with the clients on it has been a real eye-opener in terms of where they can see efficiencies, both front, middle, back office. I think different actors in the market playing in different places. I think brokers seem to be kind of going to have to do a lot of work in their areas to improve, but it's going to help the clients get better value, better premium earlier, I think.
Yeah. How do we measure those benefits? There's been a lot of emphasis on that in the market at the moment of punting these improvements, how we can see this operational efficiency. How do we think about guiding our clients through this?
Again, I think looking for small elements straight through processing. So again, while the market said, let's get 90%, I think if we can get 10 or 20% straight through processing for our clients, that's a huge saving. So removing bodies needing to key stuff in, removing people, duplication of effort is just seen in lots of areas. So we can measure it by looking at where duplication is removed. So am I keying into one system, 2, 5? Ideally, it's almost nobody keys in. Let's get the client to key in more, and let's do straight through from start to finish. I'd like to see a vision where we can get data running from, again, client through white space, through broking out to a carrier with almost nobody touching it. Why is that not an ambition of the London market to get straight through digital processing? We can achieve that through our products.
And the great thing is bringing that value forward to the policyholder at the end of the day, because showing that value is really key to this whole straight through processing question.
Well, frictional cost in the market is huge. So we know that, and anything that removes even a part of it, and again, whether that's 100%, I think pick a low number. We can gain efficiency and hopefully lower premium, more business coming through the London market off the back of that because we're a more efficient place to do business.
And us responding to that as one Verisk, we're talking about the removal of overheads with respect to data entry, but there's also a distribution opportunity here and the transfer of data, accessing new markets for some of the customers.
Certainly being efficient. Again, by class, where can we do business in London where we couldn't do before because it cost too much? And if we can bring data sets to that, augmentation, we can look through some of the more kind of detailed classes and say, where do we really add value?
The early phases of the program will look at focusing on open market and delegated authority, but the ambitions are much wider than that. And this is really a foot in the door to getting something through the likes of the core data record, an agreed standard. I mean, if we're all agreeing what that data is that we're talking about between systems, that enables a whole bunch more.
Absolutely. I think the work the market's done under Blueprint 2 and the kind of data council and the core data record has been excellent. I think we've got a standard there that we can kind of all adopt as market participants from our point of view, using that or using elements of it to allow us to move data between our applications, and even the ones we've got, future ones, it's going to be efficient. So how do we move data around? Again, removing rekeying both within our kind of internal systems, but also how we can work with other people in the market and look to be able to bring data in, pass it back out again. Again, all really focused on Blueprint 2 and the foundations that are being laid there. I think it also allows us to get more efficient delegated authority, starting to go to that more augmented underwriting, auto follow. There's lots of things that having structured data early and the right data of high quality just allows everyone to be more efficient and look for how they can all individually add value in different parts of their value chain.
And looking at it from that open ecosystem point of view, it does mean there's space for a lot of different players to come in with point solutions.
point solutions, points of data. Again, where I've got unique data sets, we've got some, other people have got others. So how do we bring those together and get them to the underwriter to make efficient calls? Again, if they're looking at the right risks, pricing it correctly, it's going to be more efficient for them. All of which is going to drive value to the end customer at the end of the day in terms of a faster response time, a quicker response time, hopefully a cheaper response time overall.
I think it's looking at duplication of effort more than anything. The number of times we're dealing with Excel or spreadsheet imports, exports, reconciliations, the number of touch points and the burden it is on the operational teams in that area is excessive.
You've also got the other side of it there. There isn't such thing in the London market as a quote border. Don't see one, don't see where I'm going. So allocation of capital efficiency, knowing what's there. So rather than waiting 30, 60, 90 days, Blueprint 2 is going to almost drive a lot more data entry earlier. So you're going to get that, well, whether that's day 1, day 8, pre-bind ideally. And again, while that's not quite part of Blueprint 2, the more we can do to kind of do rating or pricing early, pre-bind, automated, it means you've got quote data. And quote data off delegated authority early means you can have a much more intimate relationship with your cover holder. So rather than telling him 90 days after the fact that, you missed out on a load of business because the price point wasn't right, why not tell him 3 days after the fact and go, actually, you can tweak that price. And actually, as a market, we can add more value to those cover holders by being much more responsive to their needs. I'm not responding after the fact, I'm responding in real time with him, not quite in the room, but automatically giving them that insight. I think there's some stuff there that will require, again, a lot of change in the market, but actually the more we can do earlier, just adds value downstream and makes us a lot more relevant.
Absolutely. That timing, that piece about it coming earlier is one part of it, but also the reliability of that data. So if we're more confident of what it is we're receiving, it means downstream, we're deriving these analytical insights that we couldn't derive before, or certainly not have the same degree of confidence in.
Absolutely. I think when you look at some of the data structures you're seeing, the ability to share property schedule data around.
Yeah.
We've got a situation in the market at the moment whereby into the same product, you've got different carriers keying the same data into it. So can we share that? Can we trust the data we're getting? Can we drive some efficiency in that space? There's lots of things in those sorts of areas that having a core data record that's consistent, we can actually consume that into different locations and use that to, again, remove duplicate entry across, not necessarily across within one client, but across 10 clients. So that's got to be good for the market, hasn't it? There's an element within, I don't know what you think about the faster claims payment kind of processing, that's looking to, again, remove some of the Londonisms and make it more efficient to raise payments, to, in this case, to adjusters and process. I think the big one for me is almost making it easier to do business with London as a whole. So rather than using the kind of London standards, what I really like about where Blueprint 2 is going is it's using the open international standards. So it's using ECOTS, kind of leveraging the Rusticon work, and we've been part of that for years. So seeing that being used now as a core message for London, it's got to be a good thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. We have to play our part in opening ourselves up to the wider world. I mean, we have such a unique position here with the specialty market. There's a lot more we should be doing.
No, but again, eBot's always been a big thing for us, and so seeing that being used almost out of the box for London, that's a great move. It's kind of allowing us to be more open and more international in our thinking. And I think again, come back to where Accord have played a good part in that in terms of keeping that standard pure. It's a really good move, and it allows us to leverage that kind of globally. The piece that differentiates us, I think, from most of the other vendors in the market have got one product or another. I think with our structure of having kind of, again, our broking products, our underwriting products and white space, we have the advantage of being able to kind of solve that whole ecosystem as opposed to having to kind of play one part of it. And so it allows us to kind of almost be greater than some of our individual parts and try and deliver end-to-end solutions to our clients and kind of almost go beyond Blueprint 2 to drive efficiency rather than needing to just play one part in that jigsaw frame.
Looking at the year ahead, there's more we can do not just for our clients, but the market as a whole. So the insights we've been able to gain in where those current pain points are, we can be advising the market as a whole.
And absolutely, I think some of the leveraging, again, after all those parts, leveraging the individual parts, but also bringing them together makes a lot of sense. And I think, again, with white space, I can see a lot of advantage with its core data record, data first type structure. It's going to be really easy to pull that down into the various products and utilize that, while also trying to drive forward the use of CDR across the market.
And we're all in with data first. I think it's going to be a big mindset shift to move away from documentation and thinking about something that could be rigorous and legally binding, that lives in a digital world that isn't physical anymore. It's quite scary for a lot of people to quite grasp, but it's a challenge we're taking up, and it's one message we want to get across to the market. With us as Verisk, where we work across the landscape with our combination of technology and data service solutions, do you think we're uniquely placed to see things that others don't?
I think we are, actually. I think when you look at the engagement we've had with both our carrier community and our broking community, we're uniquely placed to have large brokers sitting on our broking application. We've got a number of the top 10 carriers in the London market sitting on our underwriting application. They're the PASs, they're the core of their system. And overarching that, we've got white space with 300 users sitting on it across London market and wider. And so bringing those bits together, we're playing all three parts. Other people are playing one or two of those. With all three, we've got the ability to drive synergy, look for efficiencies, use the core data record and London standards to take in other people. But bringing those together gives us a unique USP. And seeing Blueprint 2 utilise those open standards and us being able to leverage them just means other people can join in there where they need to as well.
More competitive, fairer competition, and ultimately the policyholder benefits.
Efficiency for the client overall, and reduce frictional costs in London, which is a big driver of what Blueprint 2 and Lloyd's want. How do we get more business here more efficiently, more effectively?